This is my favorite part, taking a stroll through history. In 1953, the British asked the US to destabilize the democratically elected leader of Iran, Mohammad Mossadegh, because they had nationalized the oil fields and took them from the British. Iran booted the Brits out, knowing their desires, and so the British asked us to act on their behalf. We then installed the Shah. In 1979, after years of brutality from our guy, the people of Iran got sick of it and they overthrew him. This was followed shortly with the hostage crisis, where we were outraged and shocked. In response, we gave a guy a bunch of weapons and money. He then invaded Iran. His name was Saddam Hussein. The Soviet Union was worried, so they ginned up a reason to invade Afghanistan. In response, we funded and supplied the Mujahideen and created Osama bin Laden. This is just a short list of our meddling in the Middle East. We have done similar things in Panama, Honduras, Ecuador, and Cuba. Not that any of this is legal, ethical, or constitutional, but when are we going to realize that we suck at nation building? We suck at it. When are we going to realize this? We're no good at it. At some point we have to think and go, yeah, okay, yeah, we suck at that. Let's pull all our bases out and let's get out of these areas that hate us because we installed some puppet government that doesn't look at the interest of their own people. Now, we hate it. We can't stand our own government when it doesn't look out for our interests that we elected and we put in. What makes us think that some people group, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, it doesn't matter who it is going to tolerate what's going on in their country? Now I want to take a moment to look at the actual, what are considered facts that support the case against bombing Iran. Because who are we looking at for all this information? Mostly it's the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency. And they look at things like standards under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. And I want to show you some quotes from the IAEA. All the nuclear material declared by Iran to the agency is accounted for. Apart from the small quantities previously reported to the board, the agency has found no other undeclared nuclear material in Iran. The agency cannot make a judgment about or reach a conclusion on the future compliance or intentions of Iran. With respect to the report, IAEA Director Mohammed El-Baradei stated that we have managed to clarify all the remaining outstanding issues, including some of their most important issue, which is the scope and nature of Iran's enrichment program, with the exception of a single issue, and that is the alleged weaponization study that supposedly Iran has conducted in the past. These allegations come from the US. And you know how good our intelligence is. Yellow cake in Niger. Oops. Weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Oops. Yeah, you know, sorry, but our intelligence sucks. It sucks. And, you know, especially when we're getting it from mysterious sources and unnamed, you know, reports. That's all this is. It's a bunch of he said, she said. They did, maybe they didn't, maybe they did. Who knows? Maybe we don't know. I don't know. But the question you've got to ask yourself is, when all of this war and meddling in the Middle East and different countries, when it all falls apart, because it will fall apart. Do you know who Iran's biggest buyers of oil are? China, Russia, and India. World War I was started with the death of one man. Do you think that bombing an entire country that supplies three major superpowers, they're not going to fight back? They're going to fight back. They're not going to tolerate us doing that. Which is why every day there's some new reason, no reason why we got to go into Iraq. And I have two reasons why we shouldn't. And here they are. My sons. Because my sons need to live in a world that isn't manipulated by warmongering lunatics. They need to live in a world that's governed by laws, that's governed by the Constitution, that's governed by liberty. And I'm not going to stand by and watch day after day after day and year after year with this bogus war after bogus war that's created with bogus reasons so that we could invade another country, so that we could start ourselves off on this path of war and killing and destruction. And it's bankrupted this country, and it's left us where we are today with over 4,000 dead soldiers, and between 50 and 100,000 innocent civilians killed in Iraq. What is going to happen if we bomb Iran? Because we're not going to bomb in just plain old dirt. We're going to be bombing nuclear radioactive sites. What do you think is going to happen to that material? It doesn't just get melted. It gets released into the atmosphere, released into the dirt. It contaminates things for hundreds of years. Who's going to pay for that? Somebody's going to pay. And it isn't going to be me. It is going to be my children. I refuse this course of action.